Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Saurabh Singh from Listen, and today we are bringing you another session from the Listen's Mental Health Week. The session is titled Mental Health in Bharat. By Bharat, I mean those regions of India which are not as resourceful as the metros, the semi-metros, and the urban clusters. So we are here to talk about what is the current state and status of mental health in such areas of such regions of India. And I have a very accomplished panel of speakers with me. So I'll just quickly introduce all of them to you. The first we have Dr. Pankaj Jain with us. Dr. Pankaj Jain is a general physician. He's one of the most eminent physician and probably also the busiest physician in Western UP, who has a rich experience of more than 30 clinical experience years. He is also a prolific speaker and has spoken at and then chaired multiple scientific conferences and talks. And he is also also the co-founder of Ivan Multi-Specialty Hospital, which is the largest multi-specialty hospital in Muzaffarnagar and nearby areas. We also have Dr. Arpan Jain with us. Dr. Arpan Jain is a practicing consultant psychiatrist at Jain Psychiatry and De-Addiction Center in Muzaffarnagar, and he also is the program head of UP government's mental health awareness program, which he is currently piloting and running in Muzaffarnagar and nearby cities, with the aim of increasing the awareness and acceptance of mental health in these areas. We have the third panelist we have is Dr. Prakash Jain. Dr. Prakash Jain is a consultant psychiatrist at DY Patil Hospital, Mumbai. And Dr. Prakash is, apart from psychiatry, he's a writer, he's a poet, he's a speaker, and he's also an aspiring screenplay writer. He does a lot of videos on mental health, which you can find on YouTube. He hosts his podcasts on Spotify and Apple. He's been quite busy during these COVID times. So he's done a lot, short span of his psychiatry practice. And we also have Dr. Sandhya Rai. Dr. Sandhya Rai is a practicing psychologist from Lucknow. She's also a certified level 5 spiritual practitioner and also a certified expert in hypnotherapy. She's also founder of MAN, which is an advanced psychotherapy and spiritual healing center in Lucknow. And we also have Mr. Aditya Mishra with us. Aditya is a principal at Omidyar Network. His work at Omidyar focuses largely on social impact ventures in various fields such as health, commerce, and other social ventures in India. Omidyar works on social impact and such ventures in India. So we'll quickly, open this session and we'll put the first question to Dr. Pankaj Jain. Dr. Pankaj? Hello. Dr. Pankaj?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So I have a question with you. So you are the most busiest physician around that I have ever seen. And you see close to 150, 200 patients on a daily basis. So I want to know what is the percentage of patients that you see have any underlying mental issue, apart from whatever they have come to you for. They would have come to you for diabetes, hypertension, or any such thing, and you also see that they have an underlying mental issue as well. So just a minute. So what exactly might that percentage be?
Okay, the question is very pertinent these days because I'm practicing for last more than 35 years and changing the diseases, changing the treatment also last 35 years. In my practice, you'll be surprised the patient. They are having some or the other underlying mental problem. Most of the times, it is the anxiety or the depression. I see most of the patients acid reflux disease or the GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. One of the common factor is the anxiety. Patient presents to me with a feature of APD, acid reflux disease, And on going to depth into it, after some questions to the patient or showing the patient, it comes out as the anxiety is the level, a basic cause, which is leading acidity. Patient comes with the hypertension, sudden burst of the hypertension, blood pressure goes high. And the basic is the anxiety. And I feel very strong unless I treat that anxiety, the patient is not going to respond. I do address this aspect of the disease, the anxiety aspect, or in general, the mental disease. I miss one of the reasons my being popular is that I go in certain depth of the patient's problem and find out the cause, and most of the times it comes out as a stress, anxiety, depression, and address that in two forms, either from therapy or in the form of medicine. Initially, both later on, from my medicine and
So so can I just take sir, your voice is breaking. I think there's some network issue at your end. So a lot of text has broken what you've said.
okay. Now clear? Is it now clear?
Slightly better, slightly better. It's breaking actually. It's breaking a lot.
Is it now clear? I start.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just brief my saying to 2-3 sentences that whatever I see patients, almost half of the patients, they do suffer with some of the mental problem, mainly anxiety, stress, or depression. And unless I address this basic cause of the disease, the patient does not respond properly. And for example, I gave the example of acid peptic disease or the GERD. The most common cause of the GERD or the acid peptic disease is the underlying anxiety. Patient has anxiety of or home and presents to me with the problems of acidity. Unless I address that part in the form of either psychotherapy, consultation, and education, then well, I do feel very strong these days that more than half of the patients they are having anxiety with them.
So when we have a defined diagnosis that actually GERD is coming from anxiety and that is leading to actually this is a very good validation of what we at Listen had researched and is one of our founding pillars that both mental health and physical health are correlated. They act vice versa. If you're not mentally sound, it may show up as quite a few physical symptoms such as you said, anxiety, depression, leading to peptic acid and other GERD issues. So what currently, apart from medication, we are trying to solve it with?
We have to identify the cause of the anxiety, whether it is coming out of the overwork. Many patients who are working MNCs, they are really over. Most of the patients who are market, yeah.
Voice. So your sound is gone.
Trying to level. Is there some net problem?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I'll just briefly give one example.
Okay.
Like medical representative, once they achieve a target, the company gives 1.5 times of the target next year. These are the people who are very much stressed. The stress of the some of the people comes with stress at their home, relatives, students having stress of the studies. The stress is maybe social, maybe from their parents, maybe from their teachers, various research there, until unless you address this, the resultant disease is not.
Okay. I have a quick question for Dr. Arpan also. Dr. Arpan? Dr. Arpan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, Dr. Arpan, I see you have been, working very closely with UP government on their mental health program. So, why is such a program being run? What are you doing, and what changes are you seeing on the ground? If you could just briefly, and tell us about it.
So, good afternoon to all panelists, Senior Dr. Pankaj Jain, and my Dr. Sandhya Rai, Dr. Saurabh Singh, Dr. Prakshal. Since you have asked me specifically about the government's initiative, so I'm working under National Mental Health Program. This is NMHP, and this program specifically aims at increasing the awareness and availability of mental health services as grassroots level. So the issue is, even if there is awareness, even if the stigma is less, the good quality mental health services may not be available for everyone and may not be affordable. And then the good quality of course, the good quality is required. So the main purpose of National Mental Health Program is to make stakeholders aware, like the physicians, our colleagues, like the teachers, like the bureaucrats, like the lawyers, and different aspects of society be aware about the mental health issues and the importance of mental health issues in a person's life as well as in illnesses. So as Dr. Pankaj has already mentioned, that the mental health issues, specifically anxiety and depression, are the common causes of non-responding people who are not responding completely to the antidiabetic treatment, antihypertensives, and so many other somatic problems. So the importance has to be recognized and then can be acted upon. Another thing you said, in our region, how we are seeing the response, the kind of stigma is there, and how we see and different. The theme of this was WHO World Mental Health Day is mental health in unequal world. So the meaning of unequal world is the poorers and richers. But what we are seeing in community, since working with the both kind of strata, like working in the government hospital as well as in the private sector, what I can see is the stigma is more in people who think that they need to be completely strong by their mind. The people from villages, or from the, I can say, from the rural background, if they are asked that you have some psychiatry issues or mind related issues, they may feel reluctant to treat. But if you treat them and counsel them, they may not be reluctant to the treatment as well as the counseling. So only thing is that as a mental health professional as well as the health professional, if we start recognizing mental health as an integral part of health and start giving the treatment holistically along with the treatment of medical illnesses, then it will be a better step ahead to make people aware and comfortable with the treatment and the counseling.
So, what you said, I understand that you're trying to say that if we integrate, mental health, mainstream healthcare, and do a therapy coupling, so concomitantly we treated mental issues also, and we treat the medical issues also. So the treatment outcome and the treatment time period may be significantly improved upon.
I will interrupt
Is
you,
that
sir. But it's not true for all psychiatric issues, because there are different types of severe mental health issues, some psychotic issues, some people who are not responding even to the normal medical treatments. So yes, for those people, specialized and targeted interventions are required, and these targeted intervention may be in form of psychotherapeutic intervention and maybe in form of medical treatment. So we are trying to provide both sort of treatment. Like I explained you, in my team we have a psychotherapist trained at prestigious institutes. We have a team of psychiatric social worker. So this the holistic approach makes treatment complete. Yes.
Okay. Dr. Prakash,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So since you have been, brought up in Muzaffarnagar, your schooling is from Muzaffarnagar, and now you're settled in Mumbai. You are kind of apt to answer this question of the difference between Bharat and the urban areas. You are sitting at the largest city of India, Mumbai. So what differences do you see in terms of patients' um, access, awareness, and acceptance of either underlying mental issues or something that is actually visible? What differences do you see?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me over here. So yeah, to answer your question, there are quite a few differences, I would say. First of all, it begins with the approach towards mental health, and not just mental health, but approach towards mind and self-care. Because people coming from small cities, having grown up in a small city, even I was not aware of taking care of one's own mental health or just mind, or giving importance to oneself. And that is something which I have literally seen over here in the school going children, in my peers or their juniors, everyone. They are so self-conscious. They're very, they come from a family where they are being taught about how to take care of themselves and their mind and everyone. So that is one big difference, approach towards one caring about oneself and one's mental health. And when they begin to realize what is the issue, then acceptance of the issue. For example, a person who is from lower strata, relatively lower strata, even in Mumbai or in Muzaffarnagar or be it any part of the country, they generally come to the clinic, if at all with depression. They generally come to the clinic with complaints of headache and body ache. They are probably not at all interested in you explaining them about mental health, about the issues or the psychological basis of their pain. No, they just want to get relieved of their pain. That's all. For unke liye, that is the like the job is done. Unke sar ka dard chala gaya. They are happy. They don't care about depression. If you talk about therapies, if you talk about depression or anxiety and try explaining it to them, they probably do not comprehend it. Whereas this is a big difference where you get to see in majorly in big cities, and I would say to a certain extent education level and being awareness or literacy level has a lot of role to play in this. It all boils down to the awareness again, as Dr. Arpan said, that since the mental health program is being was launched way back for mental health awareness, it's still in the process. There's a long way to go. Third, I would really want to bring up this point that people from small cities and relatively lower strata of the society, they are more towards they are more pro faith healers कि बाबा के पास जाएंगे या इसकी माता उतरवाएंगे या इसको भूत चढ़ गया है, इसको बाबा के इसको पीर बरगा दरगाह पे झाड़ फूक करा के आएंगे. A lot, we get to see a lot of it. And that is not something I get to see in higher strata or city like Mumbai, which I know. When I was in Lucknow studying, I used to visit an MBBS in my the psychiatric clinics, and I used to see such problems. So probably it is related to region. Every region has their own concern, their own superstitions, where they come from. And uh, cities like Mumbai, Delhi, obviously they people are educated and more aware. But again, the people from higher strata also go for these pricey priests, as you quote them, that हम meditation के लिए जाएंगे या हम yoga की therapy, and I don't want to take a name particular, but then they all most of them are bluff. Most of them. I don't know about I can't say about all of them, but most of them. So these are the three major things that I have witnessed personally in a small town and in a major city. Yeah.
Okay, so since your stint with psychiatry has been for more than 6-7 years now, including your education and your practice and your PG and everything, and then you have been to Muzaffarnagar also, Lucknow also, and Mumbai also. So in those close to 7-8 years that you spent, have you seen a positive change or a negative change in smaller cities with respect to mental healthcare awareness and acceptance?
Definitely positive. Definitely positive. When I used to visit clinics in my UG, was it second year, somewhat around 2013 or 14, and now it's 2021. I have seen a lot of UG students coming up with issues. In my clinic, I'm a Diva Patil Hospital. It's associated with Diva Patil Medical College, and I am myself treating at least 5 that I could remember now. I could remember 5 students who are currently taking treatment from me. So there's a lot of positivity that has grown towards mental awareness and people caring about themselves, and they're catering to their own minds. Definitely a huge positive change, but still I believe there's a long way to go, because there's still the issue is somewhere hanging in between and still need to be catered a lot.
Dr. Sandhya? Dr. Sandhya, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I have a question for you. So Lucknow is evolving. Okay. For the last decade, it's moved almost from a urban town to a semi-metro kind of city. Probably, another 5-6 years, it will be as good as a metro. And you have been in the midst of this change of the city. So the city grows and its populace also grows same way. So what kind of changes you have seen, because you have been practicing for 8 years now, I believe, and you have seen all these changes. So what are the levels of acceptance in Lucknow of, the mental health statuses of issues?
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh. Good evening to all of you. जो मैं समझ पा रही हूँ आपके क्वेश्चंस लाइक यू वांट टू आस्क मी कि कितने चेंजेस आए हैं, कितने एक्सेप्टेंस आए हैं मेंटल हेल्थ को लेकर के लखनऊ में.
Yeah, I mean, see, if you could give a percentage, or maybe I don't know how. From our past experiences, we all know or assume that people have a stigma. They don't want to be branded as having a mental issue, right? People from any strata. It could be, uber rich people also. It could be, absolutely ground level people also. But the stigma was there. I'm asking, is it still there? Gone? How much gone? What changed? It's very important in respect to Lucknow, because Lucknow has evolved in the last decade, or and even the status of the city has changed. So what changes you've seen over there?
देखिए, जहां तक इस स्टिग्मा की बात है, वो तो अभी भी है और उतनी ही है जितनी तब होती थी. बिकॉज जो मैंने पर्सनल प्रैक्टिस में देखा हुआ है, जो मेरे भी क्लाइंट्स हैं, समटाइम्स और 80% ऑफ द टाइम्स अगर मैं बताऊं तो मैं डायग्नोसिस ही नहीं बताती हूँ अपने क्लाइंट्स को, और मैं उनको इनडायरेक्ट वे में एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ कि आप ऐसा सोच रहे हो, यही लाइक जो सिम्टम्स हैं डिप्रेशन के हो गए या एंजाइटी के हो गए, जो उनको डे टू डे लाइफ में बहुत डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं, तो वो उसको इजिली एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं. हाँ, ऐसे ही हो रहा है. अच्छा, आपको नींद नहीं आती? हाँ, मुझे नींद नहीं आती है. ठीक है. अच्छा, आपका जो माइंड है वो बहुत क्रिएटिव एक्शन नहीं ले पाता है. हाँ, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे आप. नॉलेज आपके पास बहुत है, बट आप उसको यूज नहीं कर पाते. आपकी एपेटाइट नहीं है. तो जब हम सिम्टम्स के बारे में बात करते हैं तो वो सब हाँ 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 करते जाते हैं, और जैसे ही अगर गलती से डिप्रेशन या एंजाइटी या पर्टिकुलर वर्ड ले लिया, नहीं डिप्रेशन तो नहीं है, मतलब लगता है कि बाकी तो काम सब ठीक कर ले रहे हैं, ये भी कर ले रहे हैं, ये भी कर ले रहे हैं, वो भी कर ले रहे हैं, पर डायग्नोसिस की एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं है. और मांगते क्या है? डायग्नोसिस. अच्छा, तो डॉक्टर साहब डायग्नोसिस क्या है, डायग्नोसिस क्या है, डायग्नोसिस क्या है, बट दे आर नॉट रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट कि अगर उनके सामने डायग्नोसिस आएगा तो वो उसको करेंगे. तो मैंने ये भी देखा है कि जब मैं डायग्नोसिस बताती हूँ तो वो क्या होते हैं, उनके एंजाइटी लेवल और बढ़ जाते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर ऑलरेडी इन एंजाइटी, और फिर वो घूम घूम के 10 असेसमेंट कराते हैं, राइट. उसके बाद भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं कि अब बीमार हो गए हैं, और उस तरीके के कैरियर्स उनके बनने लगते हैं, अलग अलग इमोशनल हेल्थ अफेक्ट होने लगता है. और जिनके साथ मैं उस तरीके से काम करती हूँ कि ठीक है, मैंने आपको डायग्नोसिस नहीं बतानी है, ये चीजें हो रही हैं, उनको लगता है हाँ हो रही हैं, और मैं फिर उनको थेरेपीज के लिए रेडी करती हूँ। और थेरेपीज मोस्टली, जैसे आई लव टू डू रिग्रेशन थेरेपीज लाइक, क्योंकि मैंने फ्रॉइडियन थ्योरी में भी रिग्रेशंस का बहुत बड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट है, और जब हम रिग्रेस करते हैं तो वो खुद ही बताते हैं। लाइक पंकज सर ने पहले ही बोला कि एंजाइटी के रूट कॉज हैं, और उस रूट कॉज को जब तक हम आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करेंगे किसी भी इलनेस का ट्रीटमेंट नहीं कर सकते हैं। और जो सबसे बड़ी बात है कि रूट कॉज को हम आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सकते हैं एज अ डॉक्टर, रूट कॉज को वही व्यक्ति आइडेंटिफाई कर सकता है जो एंजाइटी बेयर कर रहा है या डिप्रेशन बेयर कर रहा है। तो फिर वो कैसे उसको आइडेंटिफाई, उसकी कॉन्शियस अवेयरनेस में कैसे आएगी? सपोज एक तो फेथ है, यस कि डॉक्टर इज राइट, ठीक है, डॉक्टर ने जो कुछ कह दिया वो बिल्कुल सही बोल रहा है, ये मुझे हुआ है, या तो ये फेथ हो, हम सरेंडर हो जाते हैं, ठीक है, या वो खुद से एक्सप्लोर करे। सो कई बार रिग्रेशन थेरेपीज होती है, बहुत सारी ऐसी थेरेपीज है, सीबीटी भी है, उसमें भी कॉन्शियस अवेयरनेस आती है कि हाँ जब रिग्रेस करते हैं, वाई यू नो एवरी टाइम, ओके इफ दिस हैपेंस, अगर आपको बुरा लग रहा है तो क्यों लग रहा है, फिर ये लग रहा है तो फिर क्यों लग रहा है, फिर ये लग रहा है तो फिर क्यों लग रहा है। तो स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली उनको कॉन्शियस अवेयरनेस आनी शुरू होती है, एंड द मोमेंट जैसे उनको कॉन्शियस अवेयरनेस आती है, कई बार जो एंजाइटी इश्यूज होते हैं वो रिजॉल्व भी होने लगते हैं। और बार बार रिग्रेशंस करने से उनको बहुत सारे अवेयरनेस आते हैं, जो जनरल जिनकी डे टू डे लाइफ डिस्टर्ब हो रही है। आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द सिजोफ्रेनिक एंड पैरानोइड, उस तरीके के लोगों के बारे में नहीं बात करें, हम जनरल पॉपुलेशंस की बात करें तो इट हैपेंस। अगर आप डायग्नोसिस नहीं बताओगे देन दे आर रेडी फॉर द थेरेपीज एंड दे आर रेडी फॉर द एवरीथिंग जो आप बता रहे हो। लेकिन जैसे ही आप डायग्नोसिस बताओगे फिर वो 10 जगह असेसमेंट कराएंगे, और फिर उसके बाद एकदम ही कंफर्मेशन हो जाएगा कि हाँ डिप्रेशन ही है या यही है, फिर कुछ दिन दुखी रहेंगे, ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद पूरा जो जर्नी है वो सीधे बढ़ जाता है, बहुत बढ़ जाता है। कुछ लोग तो ड्रॉप आउट भी हो जाते हैं क्योंकि वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर पाते हैं कि वो बीमार हैं। उनके लिए अगर ये बता दिया जाए कि ये वाला पूजा करा लीजिए, ये वाला जाप करा लीजिए, तो दिस विल बी इजी, क्योंकि उसमें उनको कोई एफर्ट नहीं करना है। और अगर हम इंडियन डीएनए की बात करते हैं तो हमारे इंडियन डीएनए में भी ऐसी जो इंफॉर्मेशन हैं वो ऑलरेडी फीडेड है, जैसे उनको सिर्फ एक पुश चाहिए होता है कि हमारा डीएनए ऑलरेडी अवेयर है कि हाँ हम पूजा करेंगे या हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ेंगे तो हमारा डर भाग जाएगा, या कोई भूत भी होगा तो वो भाग जाएगा। तो इस तरीके से डीएनए फीडेड है, मतलब उस पर बहुत मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ती, उसके लिए आपको किसी को कन्विंस करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, आपको सिर्फ बोलना होता है कि ये पूजा करवाओ और आप ठीक हो जाओगे। तो वो साइंस नहीं समझ पाते हैं, लेकिन साइकोलॉजी के लिए एक्सेप्टेंस दिलाना, या आपको एंजाइटी है या आपको डिप्रेशन है, इसके लिए किसी को बताना, इसमें आपको बहुत एफर्ट करना पड़ता है क्योंकि ये कॉन्शियस एक्सेप्टेंस है।
आपका 8 साल पहले का एफर्ट और आज के एफर्ट में कितना फर्क होगा, एक अगर मैं ऐसे परसेंटेज वाइज पूछूं तो?
मुझे तो लगता है डॉक्टर सौरभ ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही है। मेरे को बहुत डिफरेंसेस मैंने अभी 8 साल में तो नहीं नोटिस किया है। कुछ लोग अभी भी वैसे ही आते हैं, और हाँ मतलब आई वुडंट से कि हाँ बातें बहुत हो गई हैं, ऑब्वियसली आफ्टर कोविड बातें बहुत हो गई हैं। हर किसी की जुबान पे मेंटल हेल्थ हो गया है, हर किसी की जुबान पे एंजाइटी और डिप्रेशन हो गया है, हर किसी को दूसरा व्यक्ति बीमार दिखने लगा है, राइट। लेकिन सेल्फ के लिए अभी कोई अवेयरनेस नहीं है कि हमको भी जरूरत पड़ सकती है। वो तब भी वही था और अब भी यही था, बट हाँ बातें बहुत होती है, डिस्कशंस बहुत होते हैं, ठीक है। वो चाहते हैं कि दूसरा व्यक्ति ठीक हो जाए, मतलब घर में मुझे छोड़ करके बाकी सब ठीक हो जाएं, उसके लिए उनको किसी साइकोलॉजिस्ट को भी कंसल्ट करा देंगे, फिजिशियन को भी दिखा देंगे। हार्ट पे बहुत पेल्पिटेशन हो रहा है, नींद नहीं आ रही है, चलो उसके अकॉर्डिंग कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट को भी दिखा देते हैं। जो जिनको जो समझ में आता है वो उस डॉक्टर को कंसल्ट कर लेता है, खुद को छोड़ करके, राइट। तो सेल्फ अवेयरनेस और एक्सेप्टेंस की अगर मैं बात बोलूं तो ये अभी भी ऑलमोस्ट वही है जहाँ पे वो 8 साल पहले था।
So COVID hasn't made a material change because
Yes.
we hear a lot. It has.
हाँ, कोविड में बेस्ट पार्ट ये हुआ है कि हेल्पलेस हो गए, सेल्फ हेल्पलेसनेस जिसको बोलते हैं। जैसे अगर हमें लगता है कि हाँ हम अपने आप को खुद से ही हील कर सकते हैं, अगर हमारी डे टू डे लाइफ बहुत डिस्टर्ब हो रही है बिकॉज ऑफ ओन थॉट्स या सिचुएशंस, तो कई बार हम कॉन्फिडेंट होते हैं ना कि इसको तो हम खुद मैनेज कर लेंगे, हमें किसी के सपोर्ट की जरूरत नहीं होती। ईगो सेल्फ भी तो होता है हमारा, ईगो सेल्फ इतनी इजीली एक्सेप्ट नहीं करने देता है किसी भी चीज को, स्पेशली सपोर्ट सिस्टम्स को। तो वो खुद से ही एफर्ट्स करते रहते हैं जब तक वो हेल्पलेस नहीं हो जाएंगे। कोविड में क्या हो रहा है कि आप किसी के लिए बहुत एफर्ट कर रहे हो और कोई आपका अपना ही चला गया अचानक से, एकदम अनएक्सपेक्टेड था, तो आप एकदम जब हेल्पलेसनेस में पहुंच जाओगे, कोविड ने आपको दुखी होने का भी समय नहीं दिया, लॉट्स ऑफ डिपेंडेंसी क्रिएट कर दिया। कोई पहले अगर किसी की डेथ हो जाती थी तो कुछ समय लोग चलते थे, अभी क्या हो रहा है, अचानक से एक ही फैमिली के 4-4 लोगों की डेथ हो गई है। तो आप उस सौरों को क्या करोगे? आप सौरों एंटरटेन करोगे या आप सोचोगे कि कैसे मूव ऑन करना है, कैसे आपको अपने आप को नर्चर करना है? तो आपका जो सैडनेस है, जो वो सारी चीजें हैं, वो सब जाने लगी और तो अब और ज्यादा इवॉल्व होने लगे। जैसे मैं जो विटनेस कर रही हूँ लास्ट 2 इयर्स में, मैं ये देख रही हूँ कि स्पिरिचुअल एनलाइटमेंट बहुत ज्यादा हो रही है। मतलब पीपल आर गोइंग मेडिटेशन के लिए कि हम ये कर लें तो हमें मन को शांति मिल जाएगी, हम एक्सरसाइज कर लें तो हमें मन को शांति मिल जाएगी, हम डाइट फॉलो कर लें, न्यूट्रिशन ले लें, मल्टीविटामिन ले लें तो हमको बहुत पीस मिलेगा। इंस्टेड ऑफ हीलिंग की जो कॉज है, जो आपको परेशान करके रखा हुआ है, आपको उसके लिए काम करना है। ये सारे तो अल्टरनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट्स हैं। ये सब भी आपको तभी सपोर्ट करेंगे जब आप अपने इमोशनल हेल्थ को सपोर्ट करेंगे और एक्नॉलेज करेंगे कि यस यू आर सफरिंग बाय योर ओन थॉट्स, तो ये इफेक्टिव हो जाती हैं। तो ऑब्वियसली पोस्ट कोविड जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंडेंसी ला दिया है और अपने आप को इंडिपेंडेंट करने के लिए लोग थोड़ा सा जा रहे हैं कि चलो ठीक है, नाउ अब मेरा दिमाग नहीं काम कर रहा है, चलो मुझे साइकोलॉजिस्ट को कंसल्ट कर लेना चाहिए। मुझसे लोग बोलते हैं, यहाँ पे यही बोलते हैं कि वैसे तो मैं बहुत सब कुछ अपना खुद ही कर लेता हूँ, लेकिन इस समय आजकल जाने क्या हो गया है कि अचानक से 2-2, 3-3 लोग जो हैं हमारे रिलेटिव्स एंड हमारे नोन्स जिनकी डेथ हो गई है, तो उसके बाद से समझ नहीं आता है कि हाउ टू मूव फॉरवर्ड या कौन सा एक्शन ले, क्या करें कि हम इस से निकल पाए। तो बस ये चेंजेस हैं जो मैंने फील करे हुए हैं।
Aditya, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Hello. Yeah, Aditya. So, Aditya, I've seen Umid Yar has a lot of, mostly its work is focused into social impacts. So you would be quite aware of what I say when I mean when I say that. You would have witnessed and met a lot of those people. So and obviously then you would be visiting the urban areas of India also. What kind of challenges vis-a-vis respect to mental health? And again, why I'm asking the same question to everybody, because this is the most pertinent question right now. Awareness, access, and acceptance. Because mental health is underlying everything. Dr. Pankaj Jain has explained this very beautifully. But they rarely exist solo. So what kind of challenges you have seen vis-a-vis India versus Bharat? If I can say like that.
Sure. No, good afternoon, everyone. My pleasure to be here. And I think just a quick maybe introduction. As Umid Yar, we sort of invest in companies that are tackling some of the hardest problems that India is facing. And health, as you would expect, is right up there. And within health, I think in 2017, our president had said that India is in possibly a mental health epidemic. So that was sort of, for him to say that 4 years ago just gives you a sense of how prevalent the whole conditions are. So I think over the last 18 months, we have seen a very stark change in how people perceive health. And I would say this is cut across all kinds of focus areas. So it started with shuru mein jab pandemic mein, the first few months, I think a lot of these weight loss and fitness focused applications, as people were spending home, they were not really venturing out, getting their workout, etc. They got a lot of traction and people started using them, especially it started out in the metros, but this was very democratic. So I think 4 or 5 months of post the pandemic, and I think everybody in India, or the adoption was really emphatic, and we've seen some fantastic companies being built. From there, we've seen momentum shift towards chronic disease management as well. So whether it's diabetes, whether it's cancer care, etc. We're seeing doctors use digital channels more than they have ever done before, and we've seen patients respond as well. Mental health, unfortunately, especially when you talk about Bharat, we have seen very little traction till date. And I think panelists have spoken about it. I think just the stigma, judgment around it. I think the bigger problem is people think it's a lack of self-discipline or willpower of the individual for them to be in a situation like this, right? Like people will always compare कि उन्होंने तो क्या क्या सहा है और आपको किस चीज की कमी है या why are you facing this? And that just tells you, I think we all agree that there's been a lot of information about mental health, but I would distinguish information from noise. I think there's a lot of noise in society. There are very few people who actually understand what mental health is, right? I think depression, anxiety is used more loosely than it has ever been done before, right? People don't really appreciate what a medical condition is. These are curative conditions and how one should go about it. So yeah, I would say progress with respect to mental health has been alarming. It needs to change in the coming years. It still remains a very, I would say, urban phenomenon in the sense when people understand it or are actually proactively seeking out options for this. I hope that changes in the coming months, but and I have a few ideas. I mean, we keep sort of, I think one of the panelists spoke about the government's role in this, and I think that has to be, and grouping it with physical health, for instance. I think that's a fantastic idea. We are big believers in that. In fact, I think the government, to their credit, has been making a lot of the right, noises around it. They spoke about grouping it with physical health insurance, for instance, right? Like Ayushman Bharat should cover mental health as one of the areas. I think that's a very, very positive change. I think ASHA workers, ASHA is a fantastic underutilized ecosystem that has been built. Like leveraging them to raise awareness in all corners and pockets of the country could be fantastic, right? Like leveraging the ecosystem of CHCs and PHCs that we have, making sure we have the right personnel there. I mean, these are all, I think, fantastic ideas. And I think even when you talk about stigma or judgment, I think we need to reimagine solutions for India, right? So I feel, we've been looking at companies which can offer, let's say, peer support or some version of group therapy, right? And I think Sandhya ji made a very good point. सब दूसरों में दिक्कतें वो देख रहे हैं, right? Like everybody thinks कि हम लोग को कुछ नहीं हो सकता, किसी और की दिक्कत है. And sometimes I think if you do this along with someone, let's say if you're speaking to someone, you're opening, about your issues with them, we've seen that to change happiness scores for people tremendously. So I think we need to reimagine. Our country is very, very diverse. It's very different from the rest of the world. And I think we need to find out a lot of innovative solutions for that. But so far, I think progress has been, at least the data that we see, the companies that we track, we've seen very little traction from Bharat. And that should worry all of us, especially in, post-pandemic. Yeah, so I'll take a pause. Dr. Saurabh, sorry, I cannot hear you. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. So, Adit, one more quick question. You're from Kanpur, right?
Ji.
So, Dr. Prakarsh was born in Kanpur. Dr. Pankaj has spent a lot of time, in Kanpur. He's been posted there. So, Kanpur is also a kind of an enigma of a city. It was the first, probably the urban city of India, and it's not there anymore. It's still not there anymore. So what kind of all of us have been there? What a stigma could have been of having somebody with a mental issue in family was very much visible. What we saw in close clusters that used to live in cities like Kanpur. So Kanpur has progressed a lot, but Lucknow has overtaken it by leaps and bounds. So what again, the same question that I put to Dr. Sandhya is like, you have come from Bharat, and right now you're probably witnessing India. So what changes, what challenges are you seeing on a personal level in Kanpur and maybe Delhi, Mumbai? Again, so, about mental health only, and a more personal answer if you have something.
I think, and it's been a while since I've been to Kanpur. I grew up there as a kid. I've
Okay.
not, but obviously keep interacting with folks from Kanpur. I just think it's about examples, it's about case studies, relatability. In Delhi and Bombay, in our circles, you have people who've gone through tough, let's say, mental situations where they feel comfortable enough to talk about it. And I think that is missing, significantly in the smaller towns. That openness or that comfort to share without being judged or having any stigma placed against you. I think that needs to change, and which is why I was indicating that there are few platforms. Okay, so I'll give you an example. There are a few companies I recently met where people very late at night would log on anonymously, and they are sharing stories about what they're going through. It could be relationship challenges with their partners, so husbands or wives, and these are women. A lot of them are women, right, who are logging in from the remotest pin codes that you would not even imagine, and they're just speaking with literally strangers, just to talk about, let's say, their relationships with in-laws, how after having sort of their kids, their lives have changed, all of that, right? How they had to quit their jobs, etc. So the need is there. I just think that that openness does not exist, and this is my view from a distance. I think there are several panelists here who can speak from a closer distance, but that to me, and most of the consumers on these platforms are not from the metros, interestingly. They are coming from the smaller cities. So it just tells you that people have so much bottled up, and especially the losses that Dr. Sandhya also spoke about, right? People have gone through so much in the last 12 to 18 months. I think we need avenues, and we need to help the healthcare professionals deliver care to these patients. So we are constantly on the lookout for solutions that can. So I would say, which is why I said I think mental health still remains an urban phenomenon in terms of just understanding, and by urban I mean sort of a metro phenomenon. And I'm hoping that changes, because as Dr. Pankaj had also mentioned, I mean 50% of his patients, if they are suffering from depression or anxiety, I mean that just tells you, that hits the nail on its head. So there's a lot that needs to be done, I think.
Yeah, I have one more question to Dr. Pankaj. Dr. Pankaj? Dr. Pankaj?
Hello?
Hello?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, very clearly now. So I have a very important question to you. We have spoken about mental health awareness, access, acceptance. Now, if all these things are solved digitally, do you see the role of digital health solutions? Because I know in COVID times you have adopted these taken like duck to water to digital solutions which were not there in our realm 1.5 years back, but you have just adopted them and practiced them. So what role do you see digital health solutions in the mental health pandemic, which is we believe is going on right now?
Okay. Actually, I also practice this digital platform post-pandemic, not post-pandemic, during the pandemic also. And I feel this is very good method, a new method for treating patients. Regarding the mental health, there are two very good aspects. Number one is the access, because most of the people, they don't care. There is still a stigma, as Dr. Sandhya has very rightly said. The people, they have got big stigma. They don't want to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Here, the digital platform will help because they can maintain their confidentiality. Any person, any patient does not want his illness to leak to relatives. Even for the physical, any patient does not want that anybody should know what he's suffering from. The mental health, patient wants more confidentiality to be maintained. Here on the digital platform, you can do it. Second point, the access, because the patient is not coming to the hospital, to the doctor. Through the digital platform, the doctor can reach the patient. Therefore, digital, definitely there is a lot more scope. Definitely, there is a lot of scope. We can really have this digital platform. One, then don't take the confidentiality. Second, these are the two very important. Okay.
Dr. Sandhya?
Yes,
Dr. Sandhya? Yeah, so same question to you. I know you have been adopting digital health solutions in your practice prior to pandemic and during the pandemic also. So do you think as Dr. Pankaj what he said, and I believe, it's a very unique perspective that he has taken, that, the stigma part is taken care by the digital health solution. So I just want to know your, views on this.
एक्चुअली यस डिजिटल हेल्थ सॉल्यूशंस जो है वो डेफिनेटली काम तो कर रहा है बट ये कई बार अननोइंगली बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली डिजिटल हेल्थ इट्स जस्ट एन फंक्शन ये ऐसा तो कोई है नहीं हम डेफिनेटली आपको एग्जांपल देती हूँ कि आपके घर में अगर लोग हैं और आप अगर उनको बोलते हैं कि मुझे 2 घंटे पे याद दिला देना कि मुझे पानी पीना है ठीक है और याद भी दिलाता है बिकॉज पर्सन हु लिव विद यू रियली केयर ना आपको कुछ भी होता है तो वो हर 2 घंटे पे आपको बोलेंगे कि आपको पानी पीना है सो यू विल गेट इरिटेटेड फिर आगे बोलने के लिए फिर आगे जबकि आप ही ने बोला है अगर आप डिजिटल हेल्थ कर रहे हो तो आप पहले से ही वो अगर बोलेगा हर आधे घंटे पे कि तुम्हें पानी पीना है तो तुमको बुरा नहीं लग रहा है ठीक है आप अंदर से आपको कोई ट्रिगर नहीं आ रहा है आप उठ के जा भी रहे हो आप पानी भी पी रहे हो लेकिन वहीं पे अगर कोई ह्यूमन बीइंग अगर आपको आप ही के घर का कोई व्यक्ति अगर आपको बताता है तो फिर आपके अंदर से ट्रिगर्स आते हैं आप उसके साथ कामली बिहेव भी नहीं कर पाते हो राइट तो जो सबसे बड़ा ड्रॉबैक मैं फील करती हूँ डिजिटल हेल्थ का वो सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन से दूर करता जा रहा है मतलब क्यों ट्रिगर आ रहा है अगर ह्यूमन बीइंग वही चीजें बोल रहा है ह्यूमन सपोर्ट मिल रहा है और किसी को ट्रिगर आ रहा है कोई इरिटेट हो रहा है या फ्रस्ट्रेट हो रहा है तो इसका मतलब है कि द पर्सन इज कैरी लॉट ऑफ थिंग उसके अंदर कुछ है जो एक तो टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड ले रहा है रिलेशनशिप को दूसरा एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहा है एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं आ रही है ठीक है जो ईगो सेल्फ है वो रोक रहा है किसी के सामने अपने आप को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए और वही काम वो डिजिटल हेल्थ का सपोर्ट लेकर के कर रहा है तो सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन अपने आप के बहुत सारे सेल्फ इमोशंस को हाइड भी कर रहे हैं राइट लेकिन अगर ठीक है हाइड कर रहे हैं ये पार्ट एक पार्ट को अगर इसको इग्नोर किया जाए तो डिजिटल हेल्थ जो है चाहे आपको अच्छा लग रहा है या ना लग रहा है आप उठ करके जा रहे हो आप बॉन्ड हो उसके साथ कि हाँ और सेल्फ बॉन्ड है आपने खुद से कमिटमेंट किया है कि जब ये बोलेगा मुझे पानी पीने के लिए तो मुझे पीना है ठीक है और अगर आप नहीं पिएंगे तो वो कुछ नहीं कर सकता है राइट तो डिजिटल हेल्थ उस वे से तो बहुत अच्छा आपको सपोर्ट करेगा जब आप खुद से कमिटमेंट है कि हाँ जब जब ये मुझे बोलेगा मुझे ये एक्शंस करना है और अगर आपने इग्नोर कर दिया आपका है लगा हुआ है रिमाइंडर लगा हुआ है आधे घंटे पे आ गया पानी का मान लो आप ना पियो फिर आधे घंटे बाद उसको तो पता चलेगा नहीं राइट वो आपसे कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन मांग रहे हैं क्योंकि मैंने भी ऑब्वियसली डिजिटल हेल्थ सॉल्यूशन से मैंने बहुत सारे एप्स डाउनलोड किए थे उनके थ्रू गई भी फॉलो भी करा तो कुछ दिन तो हम करते हैं लेकिन हमेशा नहीं हो पाता है धीरे 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 करके जो फ्रीक्वेंसीज है या जो कमिटमेंट है वो कम होते 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 फिर क्या होता है, वो जीरो हो जाता है। कुछ समय के बाद वो ऐप ऐसे ही पड़े रहते हैं मोबाइल में, और फिर जब भर जाता है फोन तो फिर उसको अनइंस्टॉल कर दिया जाता है। लाइक ठीक है, फिर आता है क्योंकि मार्केट है, तो इस तरीके से आते हैं, फिर हम इंस्टॉल करते हैं, लेकिन परमानेंट नहीं चलता है वो। तो मुझे मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि डिजिटल हेल्थ सॉल्यूशन अच्छा है, लेकिन अगर हमको इमोशनल हेल्थ को बहुत ज्यादा प्रमोट करना चाहिए। ये मेरा व्यक्तिगत है, ऐसे कोई यूनिवर्सल स्टेटमेंट नहीं है, ऑब्वियसली डिपेंड्स वन टू वन। किसी को बहुत सपोर्ट कर सकता है, किसी को नहीं सपोर्ट कर सकता है, लेकिन मुझे जितने मेरे जो क्लाइंट्स है, ऑब्वियसली 50 to 100 क्लाइंट्स अभी तक मैंने जितने भी काम किए हैं, क्योंकि मैंने उनको बोल करके भी देखा हुआ है कई बार, वो सीधे बोल रहे थे कि नहीं होता है, बिल्कुल भी नहीं होता है। अब सुबह उठ करके कोई एंजाइटी में है और डिप्रेसिव सिम्टम्स है, वो इतना ज्यादा सेल्फ में इन्वॉल्व है कि वो फोन देख भी नहीं रहा होता है। अब ऐप चल रहे होते हैं, वो तो चलेंगे, बट उन पे कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं होता है, और वो बोल देते हैं कि यूजलेस है, ये हम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, ये नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। तो जो काम व्यक्ति है और जो अवेयर है, जो सेल्फ अवेयर है, उसके लिए तो डिजिटल हेल्थ बहुत अच्छा सेटअप है। लेकिन जिसमें सेल्फ अवेयरनेस नहीं है, बहुत सारे रिजेक्शंस है, एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं है, उनके लिए मुझे लगता है कि जो इन पर्सन है वो ज्यादा इफेक्टिव हैं। तो इट डिपेंड्स टू इंडिविजुअल, किसी के लिए अच्छा और किसी के लिए बुरा है।
So, if I just surmise what you said, so it's a good start for a lot of people. But this, yes, after a certain stage, there are challenges which digital can try to solve along with an in-person psychologist, psychiatrist, or whatever is the need. Right? Okay. So, Dr. Prakash?
Yes, please.
Dr. Prakash?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, again, you are the youngest of the lot, so you would be, savvy to all the digital solutions that are there. So, how do you see what we are talking about, the role of digital health in Dr. Pankaj just said a very enlightening things, that it can take care of stigma, which is kind of a very refreshing perspective on this thing. The stigma part is taken care of, which we have, in the last 1 hour of talk. Stigma was the biggest bottleneck for mental health acceptance. I can be aware, I can have access, but if I don't accept, I'll not use it. So if my acceptance and my stigma is taking care of digital health, so that's a good thing. So I just want to know your views also on this.
So, Dr. Saurabh, that's true that stigma part is taken care of really well, and the confidentiality issue. But I think there's a lot more to it, because so we call it telepsychiatry. There's actually a term for it called telepsychiatry, and there are a lot of benefits of telepsychiatry. Accessibility is one, confidentiality is another, and as Mr. Aditya pointed out, that there's a lot of noise more than relevant information across media, so that can be cut down, and that is being cut down. But to do all these things, you need to have a basic setup. So everyone has been praising social media and digital media in terms of mental health, but so I would like to bring up this point, that challenges that I have personally faced, and the small towns, as you quoted, the Bharat that you're talking about, they don't really have the setup, they don't have proper resources. Internet ही नहीं है लोगों के पास, लोग अभी भी आज भी देश में लाइट नहीं है, तो इंटरनेट और टेलीसाइकाइट्री तो बहुत दूर की बात है। उन लोगों they don't have accessibility to basic issues like कि अगर मलेरिया और डेंगू भी हो गया है, किसी पीएचसी पे कहीं आउटब्रेक है, तो वो पीएचसी हैंडल नहीं कर पाती है। So mental health for them and telepsychiatry, a setup in a PHC is a long way to go. So basic amenities ही नहीं है. So you to begin with, वो एक बहुत बड़ा challenge है. That is one thing that telepsychiatry has been facing. It becomes expensive. अगर आप एक लोअर स्ट्रेटा की बात करें, छोटे शहरों की या गांव की बात कर रहे हैं, वहां पे they can barely make money for their own survival. तो वो उस टाइम पे 1000 rupees का वो 100 GB का 200 GB का नेट का रिचार्ज करा के उसके थ्रू काउंसलिंग्स करें और प्रॉपर टाइम पे शेड्यूल करें, that is something which is not practically feasible. Yet having said so, yet there's a lot of benefits also that the panelists have already spoken about. And another challenging issue is identity issues. That during telepsychiatry we are being taught firstly to identify the people, the person, and the whom we are talking to. So there have been a lot of cases where the medications and the prescriptions have been misused or abused in the name of patient. And और telepsychiatry में उसका बहुत problem create हुआ है उस वजह से. I don't have faith, but in my department there's my colleague who has faced this issue. तो उनके ऊपर like there have been some allegations and all stuff. तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा challenging issue है. And but still, having said so, awareness has been taken care of to a great extent. I am myself working with this NGO called Let's Make It Happen. Let's Make It Happen is a Pune-based organization. So we work for mental health awareness and last World Suicide Day, and in COVID we have been taking random calls. Psychologists have been available on call just to talk to people. So yes, digital media has grown a lot, like mental health has grown a lot with the help of digital media, but there are a lot many challenges and primary challenges that need to be taken care of before you actually go on to cater telepsychiatry per se.
Exactly. So it's a good start, but a lot more needs to be done, right?
Exactly. It's a good start. Long way to go.
Perfectly said. Dr. Arpan, your views, please, and then we'll close the session.
So, just some comments about digital media.
Yes, please.
As we know that most of the time psychiatric treatments are tailor-made. So it's not something one type of treatment, one type of intervention fits to everyone. It has to be tailored according to the patient's need. It's his or her socioeconomic background, affordability, feasibility. So these apps don't work in these conditions because these are not tailor-made. Some people do understand, some people do not. Some people will follow their comments, their orders, but some people cannot. So it is not a tailor-made situation in apps, number one. Number two, about the social or digital platform to seek psychological help. So what I see, yes, they can seek help, but the quality of help is something which is the important factor. If the person sitting on the other side of the screen, we cannot identify he's a qualified person or not. We are just logging in and we are talking that person. We don't know the credentials. We are just searching on the internet that this person can give me a proper advice, proper counseling, and that may be detrimental to me if it is not quality, if it is not from a qualified person. So this is something very important. There has to be some platform. There has to be some people who are gathering quality people and providing the quality services, so that the person seeking that service can be ensured, yes, I'm getting a service from a qualified doctor, psychiatrist, clinical psychologist, and so on. So this is my final comment. Yes, it is a boon, but it has to be carefully dealt with. And what Dr. Prakash has already mentioned, the treatment and prescription can be misused. And another thing is the confidentiality. Wonderful, sir. तुमने बिल्कुल बताया कि confidentiality का तो part इसमें बहुत अच्छा रहता है, identify करने की जरूरत नहीं है. So मेरी तरफ से तो even I am using digital platform for last 1.5 years. I've seen thousands of patients on digital platform, because there was a time when patients were coming and we were not able to sit in the OPD. So it helped us a lot. That's all.
Okay. Aditya?
Yeah.
I would like your inputs on the digital question. So from a non-medical perspective, how do you see what you have seen and how do you foresee the future?
See, on the technological adoption, I'm actually very, very bullish, optimistic. I think last 18 months have probably been more productive than the last 5 or 10 years in terms of tech adoption, which is great. I agree with what I think all panelists have mentioned as well. See, I think our healthcare, and it's not specific to mental health. It's a, I call it a sick care system. It was designed, if you felt sick, you go and visit a doctor, you will get care. Right? And that worked really well for acute illnesses. But for chronic, this fails. And often this debate becomes an either or. ये tech सही है या फिर offline walk-in model? And the answer is both. You need both. If you don't use tech for chronic treatments, I mean, we are doing something wrong in this day and age. So it will continue. It will only become more prominent. And exactly as Dr. Pankaj said, I think anonymity is a big thing. Confidentiality is a big thing. Ease of data capture is a big thing. For a practitioner to prescribe, they will benefit. And I think NDHM, the government is trying to put it all under, make it very easy for patients to share data with providers. So I think it's a no-brainer. This is one thing I'm very, very optimistic about. And I think our country, I mean, traction is just phenomenal. I think people are not talking about, we are seeing some of the traction on our own. We were one of the first investors in a company called 1mg, for instance, which, MyUpchar is another teleconsultation platform. Just the data is phenomenal. Like people are using digital, and obviously we have to be careful on where to draw the line, and we don't start treating people online. That's not supposed to be the answer, but I think tech can really augment our processes and help get the right patient outcomes, which is all, I think all of us would agree. That's the gold standard. That's the end state. And I think tech has a role to play in that. So very, very, very confident.
That's a great marriage waiting to happen.
Absolutely. Let's hope. Let's hope we go from strength to strength.
No, it's there. The adoption, acceptance of tech in healthcare, there was reluctance, but I think, COVID has pushed us off the cliff. It didn't even wait for us to tape. It just even pushed us. And that's a good thing. Although COVID was bad, but the outcome of what changes it is bringing in healthcare, adoption of digital, and obviously at the end of the day, data is going to be central to, as you said, for chronic diseases. Obviously, गिर गया, मुझे चोट लगी, मैंने बैंडेड लगाया, आगे बढ़ गया. No tech needed there. But yes, diabetes, hypertension, beautiful stuff happening around the world.
Yeah, and preventive is, I think, we see
Krishna, can I have you back? Krishmir?
Yeah, I'm back. I think Aditya was saying something in the part.
No, I just a closing thought. I think preventive is the future, and preventive cannot happen without technology. So it's very simple in my eyes. Like it has to be. We need technology more than ever, and it doesn't have to substitute the care system, but it can augment it. So that would be my last line.
Definitely.
No,
So
I think
Krishna, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Please
I
go
know.
ahead.
I would like to thank from Listen all the panelists, Dr. Pankaj Jain, Dr. Arpan Jain, Dr. Prakarsh, Dr. Sandhya Rai, Dr. Saurabh, and Aditya. It was a pretty engaging discussion. And so a lot of things for us to think about. And we here at Listen definitely believe in integrating mental health into larger healthcare, as we say, the physical health. Human organism doesn't separate between the two. We do. And I think somewhere somebody touched about, we are destined as a country to treat sick, but why don't we prevent people from getting sick? I think that's where technology can play the role. But having said that, all the things that anybody who tries to do in healthcare, Listen or not, or anyone, quality has to be the benchmark, because you are dealing with people's life here. So with that, I think I'll hand it over back to you, Saurabh, and I thank everyone from the Listen family, to all of you. Really, really thankful for taking out time, and thanks.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Prakarsh, Dr. Arpan, Dr. Sandhya, Aditya. I think we had a very beautiful, very engaging, very enlightening session. And finally, and we have we know we are on the right path. The digital media, digital health is on the right path. We got a lot of things we have already have solution for, and a lot of things that we have to solve for, but we are on the right path. So again, thank you everybody, and let's meet sometime again.
Thank
David?
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye bye. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.